What's up everyone, Alex here. Sometimes, there's games that I get where the deadlines for reviews are just way too close from when I actually get the game, but I still want to talk about them anyway for one reason or another. It's why I've decided to make this slightly more informal style of video compared to my usual review, that gives you my impressions of what I've played of a game so far, that if you're just waiting for me to say something about it, you don't have to wait for a full review to do so. As always, let me know how this works for you in the comments below, as I do care about your feedback. For this video, I want to talk about the PS4 release of Ys Memories of Celceta, which came out today. If the name of the game sounds familiar, that's because this is a port of a Vita game originally released in the US in 2013, and Europe and Australia in 2014. This is the second game I played in the series after Ys 8 Lacrimosa of Dana, and I'll be commenting on the game from that perspective. For transparency's sake, I got the game this past Wednesday. Thanks XSEED, which doesn't leave much time to finish the game and make a video review within the time frame of, at most, 5 days. So, here we are. In Ys Memories of Celceta, you take the role of longtime series protagonist Adol Kristen. Adol has a bit of a problem with amnesia, which seems to conveniently happen at the beginning of almost every game he's in. Memories of Celceta is no different. It's a tongue-in-cheek way to rationalize why he forgets all of his fighting skills in one go, and allows any sort of person curious about the series to dive in and not have to worry about what happened before. That said, this game happens between Ys 2 and Oath in Falcom. The first thing that I was curious about jumping into this game is how much of my experience with Ys 8's combat translates to this older title. As it turns out, the controls are quite similar between both games, despite the gap in years, save for the absence of a jump button. The camera also does not rotate with the right stick as it does in Ys 8, opting for more of a preset camera angle style presentation. That said, the right stick does two different things. Set the camera distance from the current controlled character, and set your party members to be on the offensive or defensive. For the most part, your party members are very responsive when it comes to switching between both modes of play. However, I found myself sometimes fairly lost on what mode they're actually on, due in part because there seems to be no UI element that shows it. It only shows what mode you're switching to, not what mode you're currently on. This is a very small gripe though, as I was more focused on enjoying the kinds of hack and slash gameplay that I loved from Ys 8. Speaking of hack and slash, I likened the combat of Memories of Celceta to something of a faster, more frenetic style compared to games in the Legend of Zelda series. You have a guard button that minimizes the damage you take from enemies, as well as a dash/roll that lets you quickly evade enemy attacks. Evading just before your enemy's attack hits will slow down time for your enemies, allowing you to dish out massive damage without having to worry about getting smacked by them. This simple mechanic is something I have loved in many action games, rewarding your well-timed dodge with more time where you can just unload damage haphazardly. The game also has a traditional leveling and experience point system to further distance itself from the Zelda comparison. By the way, the reason why I'm bringing Zelda up so much is because many of my friends, both offline and online, kept comparing the Ys series to it to sell me on trying them out. And while there's certainly valid comparisons for both, I think the Zelda comparison sells Ys a bit short. I love both series in very different ways, but if I had a friend who's a fan of fast-paced hack-and-slash combat who also wanted to get into an action RPG with a traditional leveling system, then I'd be recommending an Ys game for that person. The gameplay hook for me is the exploration aspect of Celceta. There's a percentage meter that ticks up every time you venture to a new area, and you'll be uncovering Adol's lost memories as part of this exploration. Naturally, there's quests and the main story objectives that you'll be able to fulfill the more you explore the area, but I found that the story didn't quite grab me early on as I'd liked. That said, it serves as a really good excuse for me to venture far out, and it felt right for the time it came out. All told, the presentation, in general, fall in line with what you'd expect a Vita port of a game to the PS4 would be, which basically means that it looks like a Vita game, up-res for a higher resolution. And quite frankly, at the asking price, I absolutely don't think this is a bad thing at all. Thankfully, this also means that the game runs at 60 frames per second, which means that the gameplay is both quick and responsive, perfect for any hack and slash fan who wants to indulge in its combat. If there was one gripe that I had with Memories of Celceta, is that the AI has a bad habit of running around in circles and getting caught in the geometry. In my playthrough, I've had my AI party members doing this at least 5 times. Of course, you can just walk away from them to stop this from happening, but when this happens during combat, it can get mildly annoying. As said, Ease, Memories of Celceta, came out today, so I'm hoping that this new impression-style video gave you an idea of what my experiences are so far with said game. What did you think of this kind of video? More importantly, what do you think of Memories of Celceta? Post your thoughts in the comments below and let's talk about it. Thanks for watching everyone, and see you online.